I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with flutist and composer Itai Kriss. Itai's new album is titled Telavana. Telavana beautifully combines Latin and Middle Eastern rhythms and melodies in the most uncontrived way possible, highlighting the excellent musicianship of all the players involved. Itai and his Telavana group are very active in the New York City jazz scene and are currently touring the globe. Itai has worked with legendary household names in jazz, including Curtis Fuller, Nathan Davis, and the late Dr. Billy Taylor. The song playing in the background is titled Sahadi's Serenade. During my conversation with Itai, you'll hear the songs Shabazi, Buttered Scones and Tea, and Azules. Towards the end of the conversation, you'll hear the song Para Venezuela. These songs are all from the album Telavana. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Itai Kriss by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net. You can listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the available podcast vendors. If you're on Spotify, please follow the Doing Jazz playlist, a one-stop playlist for songs by all the Doing Jazz guests so far. While on iTunes, please rate the show, leave a comment, and share the show with your loved ones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present Itai Kriss in your face. Itai Kriss, welcome to Doing Jazz.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice. It seems like you're touring.
Well, a little bit.
A little bit.
I have a little bit.
You seem busy.
Yeah,
basically.
very busy.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good thing to be busy. Yeah, but apart from the release of my CD Telavana, the album, that happened last month. So now I'm getting ready to go on a little trip. Going to Russia for a few shows. First time in Russia.
Awesome. Be careful.
Thank you. And then I'm going to Israel to play the jazz festival, Red Sea Jazz Festival.
Nice.
Which is going to be a really nice festival this year.
Yeah.
Herbie Hancock is playing.
Oh, wow.
One of my idols. And so yeah, a few shows in Russia, a few shows in Israel, and then back to New York.
Good. That's it. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go ahead and just talk about your album, your work, your new album. It's called Telavana.
Telavana, yes.
All right. Even though I've listened to it, even though the sound and the name kind of gives away the theme, which is a good thing.
Right. Tel Aviv meets Havana.
Exactly. But there's still a lot to discover. There's still a lot that we can learn more, or we can learn about the album. I just want to learn more about the origin. Why that concept?
Well, I'm from Tel Aviv. That's what I consider my hometown. even though at this point I've spent more time in New York than in Tel Aviv, way more. But you know, I grew up there, and while I was in Tel Aviv, playing jazz and studying, you know, practicing when I was before I left, I got into Cuban music. I got
In
into
Tel Aviv?
in Tel Aviv, yeah, even before coming here.
Wow.
Yeah, I got into a band. They were looking for a flute player, and they said, "Hey, come play. You know, it's Cuban music. Why don't you come and see if you like it?" I was like, "But I don't know anything about Cuban music." They're like, "No, it's okay. You can improvise. Come and you'll learn." And so I got hooked
Yeah.
on it there. And so ever since I came to New York in 2002, I've been playing a lot of Latin music.
Okay.
You know, in general, like salsa, charanga, Cuban music, timba, son, and a lot of other types of like Caribbean and Latin American music. So coming from Israel and playing Cuban music, you know, it was always separate for me.
Yeah.
You know, having the jazz and whatever roots that I had musically, and then getting to play like Latin American music as best as I can, because you know it's not the culture that I come from. It's something that I had to learn. So I try to really get the style, really get the language
Yeah.
of the music, you know. But lately, I've just been writing a lot of songs that seem to have, you know, elements of both worlds. You know, it's just what comes out.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel now that I've been in New York for a long time, I kind of miss the sounds of Israel, which there's a lot of different sounds in Israel of music.
I bet.
Because there's so many people from all over the world. So you know, of course, Arabic music. I mean, you know, Palestinian music and Arabic from the region. So that's like Egyptian music, Iraqi music, Lebanese music, Syrian music, Yemeni music. It's so we have those sounds in our ears.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in Israel, and of course Greek music and Turkish music. So that's a lot of the stuff that I grew up on. And of course Israeli pop, I guess, which has elements of all of those things, and also of you know, Western European American music. So I guess naturally I'm feeling those flavors, but they get combined with the Latin rhythms, because that's the majority of what I do here in New York. So with Telavana, I'm kind of bridging the two worlds.
Yeah, that's nice. When I listen to the album, I see like a really homogeneous mix of the two cultures of music. When I say homogeneous, I just mean like the blending was very effortless. It sounds very effortless. Like you can tell, you can hear both of them, but they're well mixed. It's not like one is coming from one ear and the other is coming from another. It's like, well, you can tell that whoever is playing really has a command of the two musical cultures. My question is it just you bringing in the Israeli musical culture into it, or are there other Israeli musicians on the album?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Do you want to just talk?
One.
Okay.
I'm not the only one. No, in Telavana, it's usually it's like basically half and half. Like
okay.
Yeah, so we usually play as a sextet, and we have 3 Israeli musicians, and 3 like Latino musicians, or New York musicians. You know, but actually sometimes, you know, because people are so busy, sometimes we have different members, and but we definitely have representation of both. So on the album, we had Dan Aran on drums and Or Bareket on bass. and that representing the Israeli side.
Okay.
And then Cesar Orozco, who's a Cuban piano player,
Nice.
and Marcos Lopez, playing congas and percussion. He's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And also Michael Rodriguez, playing trumpet.
I see.
So, oh, and we also had a couple of guests, like Yosvani Terry from Cuba. He's a guest on Chekere. Is my favorite Chekere player in the world.
Nice.
And then we had a guest on kanun, which is a Turkish instrument. It was Tamer Pinarbasi, who's from Turkey. So we really had a lot of Middle Eastern and Caribbean people.
Okay. I now
yeah,
see
not just
why.
me.
Yes, yeah. Because it's like a real nice blend. It's like
I'm
a
happy.
very
Well, the thing
effortless
about
blend.
it is, well, first of all, I'm happy that you say that because that's what I was going for. And I think what made it easier is that it wasn't a conscious effort, like, oh, I'm gonna write something that has an Israeli element and a Caribbean element or something like that. It happened more like naturally, like this is what I'm hearing, you know. So I put it on paper and I call the musicians and I'm like, okay, let's jam on this. But also, the musicians, they were very well versed. All of the musicians who participated, and so Dan, he's mainly a jazz drummer.
Okay.
So he plays a lot of jazz, straight ahead and all kinds of jazz in New York City. But he also plays a lot of different styles. He plays, pop, R&B, rock, and Latin music as well. So he definitely studied that. And same goes for Ol, the bass player. And Cesar, in addition to being, he's from Cuba and he's a piano player, but he spent a lot of time in Venezuela too. So that's like his second home.
Yeah.
And he brings a lot of the Venezuelan culture, musical culture, into play. And of course, he's a jazz musician as well. So everybody is kind of like global musicians.
Yeah.
So they're not stuck in one genre.
I see.
Which helps when we're playing this kind of music.
It makes things very organic, instead of contrived. Yeah. All the songs have a very friendly vibe, friendly groove, and that's one of the things that made me really gravitate towards the album, and I listened to everything, all the tracks. There are a few of them that just capture my interest. The first one is Shabazi. Shabazi, okay. Yeah, it's like I like this effortless weave in and out of different time signatures, on the song. And you want to talk about it?
Sure, yeah. This is a tune that I wrote. I was just walking on the street, on Shabazi Street, actually.
Yeah. Oh, where is Shabazi Street?
It's in South Tel Aviv.
Okay.
It's right next to where I grew up.
Okay.
It's a very cute little neighborhood. It's like little small buildings, small houses. And it's kind of old school still, because a lot of Tel Aviv is being developed, with a lot of construction, but Shabazi somehow still feels like a village. Anyway, so about the time signatures, it's really in 5/4.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, but it also has a little bit of a clave.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
it's also inspired by Cuban music. But it's definitely a Middle Eastern melody.
Yeah.
And then after the first part of the melody, it settles into a groove. And then that groove is in 4 because, you know, so people can really groove, clap, and not be confused by the 5.
Even though the 5/4 felt natural.
It feels natural.
Yeah, it feels
That's
natural,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with the melody.
Yeah.
So really, if you sing along with the melody, you may not know it, but you're singing in 5/4. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun with that tune, and especially because lately Telavana has been collaborating with a wonderful, amazing belly dancer named Elena Nairi.
Okay.
She's from Iran originally, and she's been living in New York for a few years, and she's such a great dancer. She's very well versed as a belly dancer, but she also loves salsa and Cuban music, and she's really good at that too. So in her dancing, she's kind of the embodiment of Telavana, because she really gets it, you know, dance-wise, because she's you know, she knows all about classical belly dance, like Persian belly dance and all different styles. She's also a dance instructor. And so last year, when we had already recorded the album, we wanted to promote it, we wanted to do something. We made a video, music video, and Elena is the star. She's dancing throughout the whole video. It's kind of like a dance video.
Great.
And she got a couple more belly dancers to fill out the dance section. And so we have a lot of fun, and occasionally, not on every show, unfortunately, sometimes it's not possible, but occasionally she'll join us for live performances, and it's just so great. The energy in the room, you know, everything changes when she dances.
Oh, nice.
And Shabazi is the first song that we collaborated on. Like that was the one that I thought, you know what, this is gonna go well with belly dancing. And after we did Shabazi, we did the whole video, which everybody should check out on YouTube.
Yeah.
But after that, we started working on other songs, and now we have a whole repertoire of music and dance.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe after a while, you'll have more than one belly dancer.
Right. Yeah, we actually did a show at Rockwood with 4 belly dancers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, including Elena. Featuring her choreography of Shabazi.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's one of the really fun things of working with Telavana.
Awesome. I would like to see that someday. There's another song, Buttered Scones and Tea.
Yeah.
I like the chill vibe.
Yeah, that's kind of like the ballad of the record, right?
Yeah.
it's like a ballad / bolero.
You want to talk about it? Did you write that one?
Yeah, I wrote that one. I was just sitting on the piano one day at home, just messing around, and I got the playing around, and it just flowed from there. And the title, well, it's kind of silly, I mean, but a lot of the titles are just what comes to mind
at that time.
At that moment. I've just written a song, or I've just written a sketch even for a song.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, what am I gonna call it? I don't like calling it Untitled Number 3 or whatever. So I just like buttered scones and tea. And it stuck.
Were you having buttered scones and tea?
No, I very rarely have buttered scones and tea. I have no idea why I came up with that, but that's the first thing that occurred to me, so I put it down on the paper, and
why not?
It has a
it
has a nice ring to it. It sounds comforting to me. Like,
buttered scones and tea.
but yeah, I mean, it's like
too.
you're not gonna be stressed out while you're having buttered scones and
Yeah.
tea. You're gonna relax, and
Yeah.
that's what the tune is about.
Yeah.
And incidentally, actually, that tune is shortly featured in a new TV series
Oh,
that produced in Israel, but now it's going global. So, and it's a really fun TV series. It's called When Heroes Fly.
nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
and so I'm very proud that my music was selected for a TV series, and an award-winning TV series,
Yes, that's good.
because it already won the first prize in Cannes Festival, Cannes series.
Mm.
So I got a kick out of hearing my music on TV.
Hmm. Nice, nice.
First time.
That's good. It's
Thanks.
gonna happen more. It's gonna happen.
Let's hope
Yeah.
so.
That's good. There's the last track. I don't know how you pronounce it. Azules or Azules?
Azules.
Azules. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way
Okay.
it's like it's in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Azules, that one, Azules literally means blues
Okay.
in Spanish, and it's kind of like a Spanish blues, so that's why I called it Azules.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has kind of a flamenco vibe a little bit. That was one of my inspirations. And then for the solo section, it goes to a blues form,
Nice.
like one of the jazz forms.
Yeah.
Like, it's reharmonized, and it's not exactly it's not a classic blues.
Yeah. I was gonna
But
say.
the form is a blues, so that's why when I was thinking of what to call it, I was like, oh, you know what? I think I can call it Azules, because it's kind of like a play on words.
It was really hitting. Like the solos, you guys went everywhere with it. I really enjoyed it. And then it
that's
came
a fun
back.
one.
It came back. Like it started very soft, not too soft, but kind of mellow. And then you guys just went crazy with it.
It takes off, right?
Yeah, it takes up.
Yeah, that's one of the more jazzy
Yes, I was gonna say that
tunes
too. Yeah.
in the album. It's a real jazz tune, and the blowing is all about swinging and playing whatever ideas and just blowing.
Yeah. Nice.
But it always goes back at the end. It goes back to the vamp.
Nice. You are listening to Doing Jazz with Lawrence Chuno. The guest on this episode is flutist and composer Itai Kriss. His new album Telavana is available for download and streaming. If you are on Spotify, please check out and follow the Doing Jazz playlist, a one-stop playlist for songs by all the Doing Jazz guests so far. All right, I want to go back to the very beginning. You've already mentioned this, but let me ask again. Where are you from?
So I'm from Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Jerusalem
Oh, nice.
and grew up for the first 10 years of my life. I grew up in a very small town in the north of Israel, in the Galilee Mountains, called Tzfat.
You are all biblical.
Yeah.
You were born in Jerusalem.
Born in
To
Jerusalem,
Galilee Mountain.
which is a holy city, one of the
Yeah.
holiest cities. And then Tzfat is actually also one of the holy cities of Israel
Interesting.
for Judaism.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of holy sites in Israel for all kinds of religions. But Tzfat is one of the few holy cities.
Okay.
And it's a very spiritual place. It's a beautiful place. It's very small and kind of backwards, so
What do you mean by backwards?
I mean, out of the way and off the grid,
Okay.
and kind of, provincial.
Okay.
And so it's not really connected. It's kind of, what's the word? A little bit remote.
Okay.
It's on a mountain. And so it was a really nice place to grow up.
I bet.
When I was a kid, I was running around because it's not like growing up in a big city. Kids could go anywhere, ride the bikes all over town, get into trouble.
And be sure to come
it was
back.
okay, and be sure to come back, exactly. And then I moved to Tel Aviv and spent my formative years there. I was already playing music,
Yeah.
so I went to
Which
a
one is
conservatory.
the bigger city, Tel Aviv or Jerusalem? I bet Tel Aviv.
Well, Tel Aviv metropolitan
Yeah.
metropolitan area.
Yeah.
It's probably bigger than Jerusalem, but
Okay.
Jerusalem, I think, the whole of Jerusalem is bigger than Tel Aviv proper.
Okay.
But Tel Aviv is in the middle of kind of like a string of cities.
Ah,
So if you
okay.
look from above,
Yeah.
you're not going to distinguish where Tel Aviv ends and some of these other cities begins. It's like
I
a
see.
big
Yeah.
metropolis. So Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, but Tel Aviv for me is more of a cultural capital
Okay.
because it represents. This is just my opinion. I think Tel Aviv represents all of Israel more than Jerusalem does. You know, Jerusalem is a magical place. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But it's also very troubled, and it's in the middle of controversy, and it's where the government is, and it's where a lot of the friction is happening. But Tel Aviv is on the beach, and it's more about just good life. So people have a good time. They're always out eating and drinking, lots of bars, and nightlife, and music, most importantly. So that's where I come from. That's where what I identify with more.
Yeah. Okay. And you went to school in a conservatory in Tel Aviv.
Well, I went to school, to a high school
Okay.
that's a high school for the arts.
I see.
So we had visual arts, drama, dance, classical music, and jazz music. And so I was in the jazz department. And yeah, each one of the students kind of chooses one thing to focus on. But we all studied the regular curriculum together. So it was really nice because everybody was around other artists who are, well, aspiring artists, let's say, at that age, you know, 16 to 18. So it's nice because we did collaborate, we did do things together, and we learned from each other, kind of thing.
So after that, did you go to college?
No, I didn't go to university. No
Okay.
higher education for me.
How were you able to make that decision?
Well,
Or what prompted that decision?
I have to say that part of it was financial.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just didn't have the money for tuition. And when I was, just a few years after coming to New York, I thought, I should go to university. I should go to college or get a degree. But I really was way into music, so I wasn't going to do anything else to take me away from the music. Okay, I thought I'll do a music degree. And so then I looked at the tuitions. It's crazy
I know.
to go to school. And of course, I tried to get a scholarship, which, so I auditioned to a couple of schools.
When did you move to New York, if I may ask?
In 2002.
Okay. So you were probably like still a teenager then?
No, I moved when I was 22.
Okay.
So when I was 24 or 25, I was thinking, okay, maybe I should go to school.
Yeah.
And because all my friends were in school. And I tried to get some scholarship. I did get a scholarship, but half. But still.
Still, I know.
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
But it
Half
has
the
to do
tuition
with,
in America, it's like it's almost it's substantial, but at the same time, it's nothing because if your tuition is 50,000 and they say, okay, we take half
Yeah, we
off,
give
it's
you
20.
50%,
We give 50%. It's still $25,000.
Yeah,
Some
I don't
people
know how
don't make
people
that.
do
in
it. I mean, but I know I could have maybe taken out loans or really worked hard to do that. But then I was thinking about it. You know what? I can learn so much about music even without going to college.
Yeah.
you know. But of course, college is a valuable thing. It's great to go to college, and you can learn a lot. And you don't only study music there; you also learn. You make a lot of
Yeah.
connections, and so you know, I'm not trying to say that it's not necessary, but I guess for me it wasn't
It
necessary.
wasn't. Yeah.
No, I'm still studying, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of course. I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning all the time. I like to practice. I like to get together with other. Well, to my great luck, I know a lot of amazing musicians
Mm-hmm.
and artists, and they're part of my community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always in contact with really inspiring musicians, and I learn a lot from them.
Nice.
And so I'm not lacking in people who show me new things or challenge me
Mm-hmm.
to learn. So in that sense, I have I have the tools to learn and to, you know, progress and advance
Yeah.
even without school.
Yeah. And you've done a few things that could affirm your skills, that could attest to how good you are. That even people who have master's degrees, who've gone to spend so much time in school, have not been able to do. Like, you were part of the Betty Carter Jazz Ahead residency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. That was a
Okay.
really fun experience.
Okay.
That's basically my only jazz education experience, apart from me teaching. But there I was, you know, I signed up as a student.
Yeah.
This was a few years ago. That's a program, for people who don't know, it's a program held in the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. once a year. They get young musicians. They have a age limit.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be 30. Now I think it's even lower. It might be 25 or something like that. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they select people who audition, who send tapes, and it's about 20 or 30 musicians from all over the world, and
Nice.
they get to have master classes and just lessons and ensemble work with mentors. And the whole program is named after Betty Carter,
Mm-hmm.
who's a great jazz singer with a great legacy.
Yeah.
And so they have really, really great musicians who come there to teach. And if you're accepted, it's 2 weeks. Tuition is free, and room and board as well. At the end, the ensembles play a concert at the Kennedy Center.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very nice, very exciting, you know,
Yeah.
to be in the presence of great musicians.
Mm-hmm.
We had lectures by and master classes with, for example, trombonist Curtis Fuller,
Mm-hmm.
who's, you know, I grew up listening to his music, to his recordings. He's
Yeah.
on so many amazing recordings, you know, John Coltrane, Blue Train,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, he was in the Jazz Messengers. So for me, it's you know, he's a legend.
Yeah.
So it was great to meet him, and Dr. Billy Taylor, also another one, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And so it was a really fun experience,
Mm-hmm.
and being thrown into an environment where you're with young musicians from all over the world, and nobody knows each other, but we have to get together and play music. Oh, and the other thing is that during this program, we all play our original songs, original tunes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so everybody had to be a composer as well as a performer. And we had to play each other's compositions. So that was kind of like a mini, well, it wasn't like college, but it was like a little bit of being in an educational environment.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to to something we already talked about. How were you able to learn composition without going to college I'm sure this is a very ignorant question to ask, but I'm gonna ask it that way anyway.
You don't need everybody, kids out there who are listening, you don't necessarily have to go to college to learn composition. Anyone is a composer. You know, if you're walking down the street and you're whistling a tune,
Yeah.
you're already composing.
Yeah, but documenting it, writing it down.
Yeah, so documenting a composition, it's all you need to know is a little bit of music theory.
Okay.
And by the time, I mean, I started learning music theory when I was 6.
Mm-hmm.
So that means music theory means like writing notes.
Mm-hmm.
You start from the basics, you know, do, re, mi, fa, sol.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyone who can read music
Yeah.
already knows a lot of music theory.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can read music, you can write music.
Yeah.
So all of these kids who are learning recorder or piano or violin,
Mm-hmm.
they, you know, if they're studying in according to the Western tradition,
Yeah.
and they read sheet music,
Yeah.
they already have enough. They already know enough to compose.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied a lot of music theory. I studied when I was a kid. I sang in a choir,
Yeah.
so I learned how to sight read.
Mm.
And I played different instruments, recorder,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad taught me to play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And
What choir are you talking about?
it was a choir, part of the conservatory
Okay.
in the small town I grew up in.
Oh, okay. What kind of
And-
music did they sing?
All kinds of songs. As I
Okay.
remember it, you know, this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I remember enjoying singing in different languages.
Oh, okay.
Because it was kind of like a classical music,
Okay.
but we had songs in French, Italian, German, English, and other languages, Portuguese, I think.
Yeah.
And it was just a choir for kids.
Okay. Because I'm asking because I'm assuming you're Jewish, even though I might
Yeah.
be wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I am.
whenever somebody says choir, I'm thinking of Christian
Oh,
church,
church music, right?
Choir.
Oh, but not necessarily.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Actually, this choir had nothing to do with religion. It wasn't religious at all.
That is so interesting. There should be more of those.
Yeah, well, I think they exist.
Yeah, but they exist. But I think children's choir they usually sing like religious music, like Christian music.
Right. Well, not in Israel.
Not in Israel, I guess.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so going back to your question, by the time I was done with high school, I actually had a lot of music education already.
Okay.
I had we were studying jazz improvisation,
in high
harmony,
school.
ear
wow.
training,
Nice.
which means recognizing
Yeah.
what you're hearing, if it's notes or chords or rhythms. So they would make us transcribe things. They would play things to, you know, the teacher would play something, and we had to write it down, which is a great skill to have, you know, especially as a jazz musician.
Yes.
To know what you're hearing,
Yeah.
because if you know if you recognize what it is you're listening to, then you know you can play it back or you can respond to it, and you're informed.
Yes.
So, and we did study, what else? You know, harmony. We had jazz history lessons, and we also had a lot of practical work, ensemble work. So really, that's the same stuff that you learn, that you study in college.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
in college,
think you needed
of course,
college.
all of these subjects you can always delve deeper and deeper and deeper, and there's a lot to learn. You know, people
Yes.
have, you know, PhDs in music, and but it's really not even about the degree. Or music is endless.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I feel, and a lot of older musicians have told me that music has no boundaries, it has no end to its depth.
Yeah.
You know, it's something so deep, so endless, that you can never say, "Oh, okay, I understand music now." Now I know
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
It's never like that. And the more I learn, the more I mean, it's a cliche, but the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know.
Yes.
But that's one of the really beautiful things about music is that, look, how long have we had music as humans on this planet? I mean, I'm guessing millions of years.
Yeah. As long as we've been here.
As long as we've been alive, we existed.
Yeah.
And of course, the recorded music, let's say, already it's been about 120 years of sound recordings, and of course, much more of written music.
Yeah.
And still, people they're not. There's still so much to create.
Exactly.
And there's still so many places to go, and people are exploring all the time. And now more than ever, I think, since there are more people on the planet than ever before. And it's just a beautiful thing that there's still so much to create, and everybody can create in their personal way. Since we're all unique, we all have a different voice, and we can contribute to this world of music.
Nice. So yeah, I'm interested in these questions about music education because I didn't go to school for music myself, and I'm a musician, I'm a vocalist, but I never went to school for music. I went to school for math. And whenever I write, lately I've been discovering that I'm lacking when it comes to harmony. Like I don't, I am not comfortable with my skills when it comes to harmonization.
Right.
I'm okay when I come up with a new tune. I'm satisfied with that, and I write it down as much as I can, put chords to it. But I just feel like I need more, And sometimes I just blame it on my not having gone to college for music. That's the reason why I'm not able to do harmony really well. So, are you saying that I could learn harmony?
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm confident that you can learn harmony. I mean, you already know harmony, so you just have to learn more. And that goes for everybody.
Okay.
Me too.
So I should just get a book.
I know a harmony, but of course I can learn more, and I am learning more. The more I practice, the more I play with different people, and the more I try, the more I listen to music, and work at home.
Yeah.
I learn more about harmony. And so I'm sure that you can. What instrument do you use for?
A piano.
The piano?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So should you buy a book? Yeah, I mean that's one way to do it. Definitely can help. I recommend getting together with somebody.
Okay.
With a friend or a musician that you know, somebody that you admire, that you want to learn from, and have them explain to you at the piano.
Yeah.
Because there's really no substitute for firsthand. In my opinion, that's the way I like to do it. If I want to learn about something, and it happens a lot. I ask my friends to show me, how do you do that? And then they do it fast, and they're like, no, wait, back up, that thing, what is it? And then they do it slowly, and then and it's nice because when you ask musicians a question, they don't only answer your question, they always give you some more.
Oh yeah, yes.
And that's a great way to expand your knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Who are your influences?
Wow. Not sure we have time for this.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
All right.
I mean,
how about flute players? Do you listen to other horn instrument musicians? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I think that mostly during my education as a flutist, I didn't really listen to so many flutists.
Okay. Because I don't know I know there are a lot of jazz flutists out there, but I haven't studied their work. Like I know more about trumpeters than flutists, for instance.
Well, Me too, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, jazz flute." It's kind of like a joke, a little bit. For some people, because of that movie that they
Okay.
Anchorman. Did you see that movie?
No.
People always
No.
bring it up. No, but it's not one of the instruments that's very central in the history of jazz. It's
Yeah.
kind of marginal.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are less flute players that are well known and less flute players who did a lot in jazz than other instruments like the trumpet, the saxophone, other horns that are more like classic jazz instruments.
Yeah.
Trumpet, sax, trombone.
Okay.
So naturally, when I wanted to learn to play jazz, I was thinking even to try another instrument. But since the flute I was already fluent with the flute.
Yeah.
I just went for it. But I don't know. I guess I never just wanted to be a flutist. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play
okay.
jazz. Flute happened to be my instrument,
Mm-hmm.
but I drew a lot of inspiration from horn players,
Okay.
from different horn players. So everyone. I really love all the jazz greats.
Okay.
So
That's
I
a good answer.
I listen to and I try to imitate them too
Yeah.
on the flute. So I try to make my flute sound like a trumpet, more like a trumpet when it's soloing. I mean, I know that it doesn't really sound like a trumpet, of course.
No, but I
will
noticed.
never.
I noticed that.
But I learned, I transcribed solos, lots of trumpet solos by people like Clifford Brown, Lee Morgan, Kenny Dorham, and then sax solos by people like Sonny Rollins, Charlie Parker,
Yeah.
Hank Mobley, and of course Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many great musicians to learn from.
Yep. Nice. Have you been to Havana?
Yes,
Okay.
I have. I've been there twice now,
Okay.
but I'm definitely going back.
Okay.
I love Havana.
You like Havana?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to round up with a little question and answer segment. I call this turn up mute. All right?
What do you call it?
Turn up mute. So I'm going
Turn
to
up
give
mute.
you, turn up and then mute.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you two options. And you're going to turn one up and you're going to mute the other.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, it doesn't mean that the one you turn up that you really, really prefer it to the other one. It just means at this moment, this is the one I'm feeling, and the other one, I'm going to mute it maybe for later on.
Oh,
Does that make
okay.
sense? Okay. All right.
It doesn't make sense yet, but I'm sure it will in a minute.
Okay. So there are difficult questions.
Okay.
All right. Freddie Hubbard. That's how his name is pronounced, right? Hubbard.
Hubbard?
Okay.
Yeah.
Freddie Hubbard. Curtis Fuller. Who do you turn up? Who do you mute?
Ooh. Just a minute. Is muting kind of like a diss?
Oh, no. It
or-
just means for now, I'd rather listen to the other person.
Oh, let me listen to
Maybe
Freddie
what-
Hubbard right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Freddie Hubbard. I admire. I mean, I admire them both, of course.
Yeah.
But just talking about it, I got inspired and I want to hear him.
Okay. Okay. Good.
With that brilliant tone.
Yeah. Good answer. Havana, Tel Aviv.
I would say let's turn up Havana and mute Tel Aviv for now.
Okay. That's bold. Why?
I miss Havana. I was there in February,
Okay.
and I already miss it.
Okay.
I want to be back. I want to hear some more music.
Nice.
And actually, I know that I'm going to visit Tel Aviv very soon, in a couple of weeks. So that's why I know I'm going to get my dose of Tel Aviv
Okay.
soon. So let's turn up Havana.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. All right. The last one, Para Venezuela and Havana Special. These are two songs on the album.
Well, I'm gonna turn up Para Venezuela and
Okay.
mute Havana Special, but it's a very selfish reason.
What's the reason?
Just because yesterday we had a concert with Telavana at
Okay.
Cornelia Street Cafe,
Mm.
and we played Havana Special, but we didn't play Para Venezuela.
Ah,
So
okay.
I already got my fill of Havana Special, so
Okay.
that's why.
You're very methodical with it. I shouldn't have done all the explanation. I should just tell you, hey, choose one. The other one, you don't like it.
Right.
Anyway, Itai Kriss, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on Doing Jazz.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, let's.
Nice.
Well, I hope to have a brand new album to talk about.
Yeah,
next
and you
time.
don't even have to have an album if you just want to stop by and talk again, maybe in a year's time, and talk about things that you've been doing. Yeah. Let me
All
know.
right.
Let me know. All
Yeah.
right. Great.
Pleasure.
Good. Take it easy.